My best writing partner doesn't have a soul. It's never had a bad day, never gotten writer's block, and it can read 10,000 books on storytelling structure in about 30 seconds. And before you click away thinking this is some dystopian sci-fi movie, stick with me. Because that soulless partner is the very reason I'm able to finish books now, instead of just starting them. And I'm willing to bet it's the key to you finishing yours too. Look, we need to talk about the messy middle. You know what I'm talking about. You have the idea, the big one, the one that keeps you up at night. The characters feel real, the concept is electric. You write the first chapter, maybe the first 3. You're flying, it feels amazing. And then you hit a wall. The excitement fades and it's replaced by this giant, foggy, overwhelming feeling of, okay, what now? Your plot threads start tangling like a pair of old headphones in a backpack. You have scenes you love, but you have no idea how they connect. You start a new document called Book Ideas, which is really just a graveyard for cool moments that don't fit anywhere. Suddenly, your brilliant idea feels less like a masterpiece and more like a chaotic pile of Lego bricks with no instruction manual. Does any of this sound familiar? For years, that was my entire life as a writer. My laptop was a digital boneyard of half-finished manuscripts. I had a folder with a project called Project Nightingale that I'd been working on for 6 years. 6 years. I'd try everything. I bought the fancy software with the virtual corkboards. I covered my walls in sticky notes until it looked like a scene from A Beautiful Mind. I read every book on 3-act structure, The Hero's Journey, Save the Cat. You name it, I read it. I had all the knowledge. I had all the passion. But I was missing the single most important thing you need to build a book: a blueprint. I was an architect trying to build a skyscraper by just starting to weld beams together on the ground floor and hoping for the best. And every single time, around the 10th floor, the whole thing would wobble and I'd abandon the project out of sheer frustration and a crippling dose of imposter syndrome. I was convinced I just wasn't a real writer. That I didn't have what it takes to see a big project through. Then I started playing around with AI, and not in the way you might think. When I first heard about AI for writing, my first reaction was probably the same as yours. That's cheating. It's going to steal my voice. It's just going to spit out generic, soulless garbage. And that brings me to the first big myth we need to bust right now. The idea that AI will steal your unique voice is based on a fundamental misunderstanding of what it's for. Using AI to help you write isn't like hiring a ghostwriter. It's like hiring a brilliant, world-class architect to help you design the framework for the house that only you can build. Think about it. A hammer doesn't decide what kind of house to build. The carpenter does. The AI isn't the storyteller. You are the storyteller. The AI is the tool that helps you organize your brilliant, chaotic, uniquely human ideas into a structure that actually stands up. It doesn't replace your soul. It builds a shelf for you to put it on so people can actually see it. And that leads us to the second myth. Is using a calculator to do complex math cheating? Is using Google Maps to get to a new destination cheating? Is using spell check or Grammarly cheating? Of course not. They are tools that handle the tasks humans are not optimized for, so we can focus on what we do best. Our brains are incredible idea generation machines. They are masters of emotion, empathy, and creativity. What are they not great at? Holding a 300-page, 50-scene, 12-character plot structure in their head all at once, without anything getting lost or tangled. Using AI for structure isn't cheating. It's finally getting the right tool for the job. It's delegating the logistical heavy lifting to a machine, so your brain can be free to do the magic. My breakthrough didn't come when I asked an AI, write me a story. My breakthrough came when I took all the chaotic notes from my 6-year-old Project Nightingale, the random character bios, the snippets of dialogue, the vague plot points, and I dumped them all into the machine. And then I asked it a simple question. Based on all this, act as a world-class developmental editor, and suggest 3 potential chapter-by-chapter outlines for this story. What came back? Changed everything for me. It didn't write a single word of my story. Instead, it did something far more valuable. First, it asked me questions. Smart questions. What is the protagonist's central flaw that they need to overcome? How does the inciting incident force them to confront this flaw? What is the core theme of this story? Power, love, betrayal? How can each chapter reinforce this theme? It was like having a master editor sitting next to me, forcing me to think more deeply about my own story. It was taking my messy, emotional ideas and holding them up to the light of proven storytelling principles. And then it gave me the blueprints. It generated 3 different outlines. One was a classic hero's journey. Another was a more modern, fast-paced Fichtean curve, focusing on rising tension. The third was a nonlinear structure I'd never even considered. I looked at that second option, the Fichtean curve, and I saw it. I saw my book. For the first time in 6 years, I didn't see a tangled mess of sticky notes. I saw a path. I saw how my favorite scene from the beginning connected to a character's decision in the middle, and how that led directly to the climax. Chapter 1, the setup. Chapter 2, the inciting incident. Chapter 3, the rising action. But it was even more granular than that. Under each chapter heading, it had broken down my own ideas into bullet points. Chapter 7, the midpoint reversal. Nightingale discovers the intel she stole is a decoy. Her mentor, previously a trusted ally, is revealed to be the mole. She must escape the trap, now completely alone and hunted by both sides. These were my ideas, my characters, my plot twists. But now they were organized. They were structured. They had purpose. The overwhelming fog in my brain just vanished. It was replaced by crystal clear clarity. I wasn't facing a blank page anymore. I was facing a to-do list. All I had to do was go into each chapter and write the bullet points. The immense, terrifying task of writing a book had been broken down into small, manageable, exciting steps. I wrote more in the next 2 weeks than I had in the previous 6 years. And that's the real power of using AI for outlining. It's not about generating words. It's about generating clarity. It's about turning your chaos into a roadmap. It takes away the fear of the blank page and the overwhelm of the messy middle, so you can finally get back to the part you love, telling your story. That experience completely transformed how I write, and it's become my mission to share it with other authors who are stuck in that same frustrating loop I was. I realized that writers don't need more motivation. They need better systems. They need better tools. And more importantly, they need to know they're not alone in this. This process I just walked you through, this partnership between human creativity and artificial intelligence, it's something I do every single day. And I've built a place where we can all do it together. If you want to see how I'm actually using AI to write full books and connect with other authors doing the same thing, check out my school group. It's free to join. You'll also get access to the tool I personally use, Instaauthor.com. Links are in the description. See you inside.